Book 78, Essay on the Nature of Trade in General, by Richard Cantillon. Long before Adam Smith's Wealth of Nations, it was Richard Cantillon's Essay on the Nature of Trade, written around 1730 and published posthumously in 1755, that quietly laid the intellectual groundwork for modern economics. Drawing on his experience as a banker and investor in the early 18th century, Cantillon offered the first comprehensive theory of how economies actually function, combining logic with lived observation. He introduced the now fundamental figure of the entrepreneur, describing him as someone who purchases goods at a certain price in order to sell them at an uncertain price, a bold insight into risk, value and innovation that foreshadowed Schumpeter and modern startup economics. Cantillon also identified how wealth is generated through the interaction of land and labor, and how prices are determined not just by cost, but by subjective conditions of supply and demand. Perhaps most strikingly, he described what is now known as the Cantillon effect, the observation that money is not distributed equally or simultaneously in a nation, meaning that inflation affects the rich and poor differently, depending on who receives new money first. This insight has shaped central bank policy and debates on monetary inequality ever since. With remarkable clarity, Cantillon mapped the circular flow of income, traced how markets adjust to shocks, and explained the geographic logic of urban development. The essay is not just a historical curiosity, it is a timeless manual on the dynamics of production, distribution, and policy. For anyone who wants to understand how economies breathe and evolve, and how policy choices ripple through society, Essay on the Nature of Trade is an essential visionary masterpiece that still speaks to the challenges of our global economy. Read it not only to trace the roots of economic science, but to witness the mind of a thinker who saw the invisible forces of commerce long before the world had a name for them.